Good morning, Insurance Syndicate Group. It is that time. It is Thursday, August 1st, and it's 10:30 a.m., and it's time for another episode of Ask the Experts. This is episode number 5, where we bring to you nothing but value, 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 and bring some of the best in the business. And today, you are in for a real treat because we have a very, very special guest today. This guest we have, he's a husband, a father, an entrepreneur, and a creator. He's built a $20 million insurance agency in just 7 years using the power of social media. He is the founder of the Insurance Creators Mastermind that is launching in September, and a good friend of mine. And I am proud to introduce, if you don't know him, you're going to know him today, Mr. Nick Sakha. How we doing today, Nick?
I'm doing amazing, gentlemen. Thank you guys for having me.
No. Well, thank you for coming. We're excited to have you on the show today, where we're going to be talking about personal branding, corporate branding for your company, and then, how to get traction out on social media, which you have done a stand-up job, and I've seen you all the way from the start, all the way till now, right? And I think one of the things that gets in the way from people is, comparison is the thief of all joy, right? They put up that first video and they don't get the traction with it. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's not working. Or maybe they put up video number 10 or video number 50 and it's still not working. Yeah. Well, I think what it took, correct me if I'm wrong, but the story to get here, maybe we can start out with that, is, it took failure after failure. And I'm guessing, just like anything, your first posts weren't your best posts, but it took failure after failure. And through that repetition and putting in the work, and maybe, probably hundreds of posts, if not thousands, finally that took off. And I think I saw one of your last videos there that you had one that reached 19 million, and your channel is starting to explode, where you're getting that notoriety. So maybe tell everybody, start with the journey, what it looked like, to encourage everybody that's out there that's maybe posting their first video or posting their 5th video and they're not seeing the results that they want to get yet. What sort of advice do you have for the audience today?
Yeah. So when I got started, and I'm not sure if the audience is primarily insurance agents or business owners, entrepreneurs. Who's our audience?
Yeah, so we're in the Insurance Syndicate Group right now. We will have people outside of the insurance agency industry watch it, but we have 8,200 folks right in the Insurance Syndicate that are all from P&C insurance, independent insurance agencies, healthcare, and Medicare agencies, and life insurance agencies.
Got it. So we all have the luxury of representing one of the more boring industries, and that was the case for myself as well. When I started my agency, I knew I was going to use social media to attract business, to attract friendships and partnerships with lenders and referral partners and employees, and that's exactly what you'll get by having an online brand and putting out content and just putting yourself out there kind of shamelessly in a way. And that was the goal from day one, even back in 2016, when social media wasn't quite what it is today. And I put out a lot of content related to insurance. And one of the funny recent breakthroughs is I'm learning that you should put out content around, it doesn't always have to be insurance, right? Yep. And recently, some of the videos that have gone like super viral, like we've had like one hit 19 million on Instagram, one hit 11 million, and then another one hit like 5 million, and then another one's at like 4 million. So we've got this kind of momentum. The cool thing is like once you have that one breakthrough, it kind of lifts everything else up, and it kind of puts you on the map. It kind of like shifts the algorithm in your favor, if you may. But for the years, I've put out just content related to primarily insurance, and insurance isn't that sexy. People don't really care about that, but you can cast a wide net and then kind of like just you can cast this wide net and then slowly introduce that, hey, this is what I provide. Like this is what I do. And something we all do might not be as interesting as putting out like humor or putting out, education, but casting that wide net and then letting everybody know kind of what your story is, what you provide, what you offer, that's helped. But yeah, I mean, we've again put out content for the last 7 years, and I dropped a YouTube channel in 2020. I procrastinated on that for a very long time, and I don't think YouTube is going anywhere. YouTube's such a powerful tool. People are using it as a search engine. It's basically owned by Google. It's owned by Google, and so people are finding information in one of two ways, which is either Google or YouTube. And so, very strong advocate for YouTube because it's evergreen. And while all the other content platforms, they kind of go away over time, YouTube actually still grows. Like your audience will still grow on YouTube even if you stop putting out content, especially if you're putting out evergreen content, which is kind of like how-tos and things like that. But it's been a very rewarding journey putting out building a personal brand, and it really connects you with so many people that you wouldn't have been connected with otherwise. And
I love it, bro. Where you're doing a fantastic job with it, and what I really heard there was like you had that tipping point, right? And I think that's something important for the audience to really understand is it's just like anything. I think most things in life, they don't come easy if you're going after something great, if you're going after something big, and you got to keep the momentum and the compounded effect, just like a 401k building. You keep making the deposits, and eventually you got that nest egg that's sizable that can do something with that. And I think it's the same thing here. It's showing up every single day, the same way people grow their businesses that have grown their business. Because when they started out on day one, I think anybody can say the day they opened their business, they didn't make it yet. It usually came after 5-10 years of hard work and the compounded effect, getting better in the process, which is what allowed them to get to that summit where everybody looks at. It's like, oh my gosh, I want to do what they're doing. But they skipped the part of, hey, 5 years, 10 years of hard work to get there. And, I would just put that out there again to emphasize that.
is that me or am I frozen?
No, Nick, I don't think you're frozen. I think Dave might have frozen.
Oh, okay.
So when he gets back on here, we'll make sure to get him back into the stream.
Yeah.
One of the questions that came in is, and this is from Joe Camper. He said, if you had to choose one platform, and he said, I know you should use more than one, but which one would you choose and why? Is that YouTube or something else?
Man, that's a tough one. That really is a tough one. I would say it shouldn't just be one. Like you should just be repurposing all your stuff. Like if you're going to be putting out content on one platform, you can pay an assistant to repurpose it to every platform. The best platform to create content on in which you can repurpose it everywhere else, I would say is Instagram, because it's short form video, and then you can repurpose that to Facebook. You can repurpose that to TikTok, and you can repurpose that to YouTube. YouTube has the YouTube Shorts. So that doesn't necessarily answer his question, but if you had to use one, I would use Instagram and then repurpose everything. But with that being said, I don't think you should just use one. And on a note, if I were to have every platform taken away from me and it's like you've got to choose one, I'd probably stick with YouTube. I think the power of YouTube is just immeasurable, and I think that's going to be one of the strongest platforms. But it's so hard because like Facebook still isn't going anywhere, so that's what I would say. I can't hear you, Andy.
Oh, sorry about that, Nicholas. So I see a lot of people get really excited about, I'm going to go do this. They get inspired by somebody like yourself or somebody else. And they sort of go out there. And I talk to a lot of people that say, hey, as soon as I start posting content, I get self-conscious. I might regret the way I've framed my content. And then they'll either delete videos or just stop posting. And you see thousands of people like get what I would call a false start. And I'm curious, number one, did you go through any of that process yourself where it was like start, stop, start, stop? And then number two, like what would your advice be for somebody to actually commit and follow through on it the first time?
Man, so we all deal with just being overly critical of how we look on camera and how we're communicating, our buzzwords. Geez, my buzzwords are crazy sometimes. The good thing about YouTube is like you can chop them out, right? You can cut them out. And so you just have to get over that. I procrastinated on starting my YouTube channel for the longest time. And then finally, my very first like long form video, actually, this is how it happened. I created like a comedy series of 3 videos. It was like Jake from State Farm versus Mayhem. And
I remember that.
I waited so long to start my YouTube channel. I procrastinated. I put it off. Like I was supposed to start my YouTube channel in 2016. You know how far I'd be if I would have actually followed through with that. But I started in 2020 during the pandemic and whatnot. And by the time what motivated me to get over that fear was finally uploading that series of videos. Like if you fear starting a YouTube channel, just upload your first video. It could be anything. It could be like your family reunion video. Just learn and just see what it was like to write the caption, to put up the thumbnail, to you know what I'm saying, to just these little things where it's like you schedule the video and then all of a sudden it's like, that's what I've been procrastinating on this entire time.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that bad. And so by finally uploading those 3 videos, which I've since put on private now because I just needed that to get, over that fear. But finally I recorded my first long form video, which was, I just bought my first house. This is what I learned, right? It has nothing to do with any of my content, but that video popped off. It got like 900 views.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And so, just get over, like, you're going to suck. You're going to be, it's going to be brutal at first. You're going to just overanalyze yourself to death. Like, but the good thing is, like, you're going to get better. And it helps you also in situations like this where, I'm asked to be a guest on a podcast or you're speaking on stage or speaking to a group of people. You build these skills by speaking to a camera because it's super awkward. It's
100%. Like I've been seeing that myself. I'm nowhere near farther along than you, but I was in that same place that it's almost like you get in that overanalysis paralysis because you're seeking perfection. And I want my message to be perfect. I want to look perfect and I want to have the perfect wording. And then I don't know how to edit it. So I got to find something to do it. And there's so many different moving components that it gets intimidated that you don't do it. Or, to your point earlier, you post that first video, you don't get what it is. And it disincentivizes you in some way to like post more of it because you didn't get that, instant gratification that you expected to out of the gate. But, what I found just early on with it is just, it's just being, authentic to who you are. Maybe just, to your point earlier, it doesn't even have to be just about insurance. If you're an insurance agent, whatever it might be, just talk about something you're passionate about and then figure out about how to then later on connect the dots and turn that back around. Because a lot of the beautiful thing about like insurance is when you're talking about buying a home and a lot of these life things that people care about that they end up resonated with. Well, guess what they all need in the end is they all need insurance by law in every single one of their states. And like you capture their hearts and minds, maybe with a different message, but then that spins around as they start to follow you and they start to get some of the content on insurance. And then who do they want to do business with? The guy that's doing good, that's putting up good content, they resonate with, they love, like, trust. That's the whole formula of branding. Why do people do business with some of the best brands in the world? Because they know them, they like them, they trust them, they love them. And I think that's what you're really doing from a personal brand that I see is you're getting people to fall in love with you on the internet. You're getting people to build a relationship with you on the internet. You're building that likability. You're building that trust. And now when it comes to, hey, when I'm thinking about I got to get insurance again, well, who's the guy to go to? Oh, that guy there. Let me see if he can help me out. And it all comes full circle.
Yep. It eliminates the amount of contacts. That those statistics where it's like it takes 12 contacts to close a sale. Well, social media like cuts that in half.
Yep.
Sometimes even more. One thing you got me thinking about, Dave, is I recently was presenting at a conference, and my message to everybody, there's a lot of people that are watching this, that are going to be watching this, that are like, you know what, my biggest constraint is I just don't have the time. And I'm going to challenge everybody on that, because do me a favor, and I want you to go to your settings on your phone, and I want you to go to screen time, and it will show you how much time you spend on social media apps. I want you to go and look and see how much time you spend on social media and tell me that you don't have time to put out content. You're lying to yourself.
We all do. We all got that shot clock ticker. We all go into the mindless scrolling at times that
And the
we
thing
get caught up
is,
in on there.
you have to become a producer of content. Stop consuming. Like, the best example I can think of is, imagine that you walk into a shopping mall and you're walking into everybody else's store and you just keep spending time in other people's stores. Like, build your own store.
Yep.
Build your own store. That when you put out content, you're building your store, right? You're building out the flooring. You're putting up the walls. You're buying products. You're putting products on the shelves. Like, the more content you put out, the more you're building up that store. And people have so much to talk about. They have so much gold in this phone, in the photo section. They have so many stories that can add value to people, right? They have so many things that they can share, but they're just holding it back because of fear of maybe it only gets a few likes, maybe it only does this. But even if your post gets like 40 likes, you put 40 people into a room, that's a lot of people in a room, right? And one last point is, you can make a story out of anything. A story I told during this conference was I can post a picture of a line at Starbucks, right? And the significance of this line at Starbucks is, when I got started in my agency, the reason I needed to become successful, my biggest why was, I'm going to retire my mom from her job. Like, I'm going to retire her and make sure she has a good life after she gets to retire. And the significance of a line at Starbucks is, she works at the MGM Starbucks. And every time I see a long line of customers and how hard these Starbucks workers are working, and people are hardly tipping out, they're getting pissed off because, maybe they didn't add a packet of Splenda or something like that. And I just, I can post this image of a line at Starbucks and say, this is why I got started. You see right here is a line at Starbucks. And to me, my mom standing on her feet for 8 hours a day just doesn't sit right with me. So the days that I don't feel like it, the days that I don't have the right energy, I need to push through, because this is what she's pushing through. And it's a picture of a line at Starbucks. You can make anything significant to you and share a powerful message. And so many people are holding these things back.
Man, I've got a question for you on that. Like, how is you putting out content? Because I see your brand, right? And what I pick up keyword wise is, like, Nick is a grateful guy. Nick is a guy who's going out there empowering others. Nick has perspective. Like, these things shine through. But I'm curious, in the exercise of having to sit down, think about it, put it into a format people can understand, like, how has this journey helped shape you? How has it changed you to have those moments of introspection, where most people just let this stuff run in their head, but you actually have to stop, meditate on it, create content? What has that done for you in, like, your own life?
Speaking of Starbucks, here we go. Right here.
Yeah. I think for me, I think it's just, sometimes you're not always, I heard this recently and it's so true. And I don't know if this answered your question, but we all have those moments where it's like, you just feel so grateful. And it's just like you just like, everything just, you're just in that moment. You're like, man, I'm so grateful. Like, this is like amazing. And you come up with a thought or an idea, and then maybe you put that idea or thought into your phone, and then you arrive to that idea or thought later, and then you're not in that same state when you came up with the idea, so it's not as powerful. Versus, maybe you should have just filmed it right then and there. And somebody that does this all the time is The Rock. You notice that a lot of his videos, and I think he's still putting out content, but they're usually when he's at the Iron Paradise. Well, what happens when you're working out? The endorphins are buzzing, right? Like, you're probably in that state to deliver some sort of a message, whatever that message is. And I think it's done a lot for me, though, man. I think you really do have to reflect and really appreciate every milestone in your life. And people tend to overlook that. So, and they overthink, like, what should my content be? But for me, if you followed me for the last 7 years, I've highlighted every single thing. my signage going on the door, my name's on the door. We just had our best month. We just hired our 7th employee. Our team is so large, like our team is the largest it's ever. There's these little milestones that people kind of overlook, and you got and people like love the underdog story. I'm perhaps past the underdog story where maybe I start getting hate now, which it happens. The more viral you get, you're going to start getting a lot of hate. But don't forget to document the story, because people love that. And there's people that never engage with you that are supporting you. They're just supporting you in silence, and then they finally hit you up to get a quote. They finally hit you up, and they have a cousin that needs a job, and that cousin ends up being your next number one selling employee, right? So there's like all these different things that we just don't think about, but it takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of consistency, and but you definitely, it does. Putting out content doesn't have to be complicated. You could really just reflect on your journey and just share what you've learned and what you're grateful for. And you can also share some vulnerable moments too, like maybe something that you're struggling with, and something that you've overcome. And people love vulnerability.
And I think, one thing I want to emphasize on there too, that, I really see with you is, and then maybe this can lead into the next question of how other people can do this, is this authenticity, right? So like, I see that you don't hold back, whatever your beliefs are, whatever you live, whatever you are, like, you're just authentic. And I think people resonate with authenticity. But I think what also people need to realize is being your true authentic self and putting it all out there. Like, you're not going to resonate with every single soul on the planet, because I think too many times people are trying to go out there and people please. I want to resonate with everybody, and you end up resonating with nobody. Like, I'll even give a case in point. Like, I go out, people that know me see me talk a lot about our country. They see me talk a lot about politics that are out there. And I do it because, I have this deep rooted love for our country. Something that's very profound to me. And, I hear a lot of people out there that'll say, well, I don't want to talk about that on social media. And you don't have to talk about that. Whatever's authentic to you. But to me, like, that's authentic. That's one of the most important things to me. And people are afraid to speak out. Well, what if I lose customers? What if my customers leave? Cancel culture, this and that. Well, I can tell you, have I lost customers? Sure. Were they some of my best customers? Absolutely not. The people that say they won't do business with me wouldn't have done business with me anyways. But my best customers have been multiplied in tenfold, because they appreciate and respect you being your true authentic self and standing up for what you believe in, no matter what you believe in. And, I think that's incredibly important. So when you see that out there, when it comes from a lens of authenticity, what recommendations do you have for some of the viewers out there, how they can just go out there unapologetically and be their true authentic self and embrace that out on social media?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think a lot of times we are afraid to kind of speak our truths and maybe be polarizing. It's okay, because, like, to your point, you're going to attract a tribe and a community of people that do feel the same way. And I feel like I have played kind of on the fence, for a lot of my, I guess, social media journey. I haven't been as polarizing as I can be, but lately, there are things that are a little controversial that they might be like my truths, or not truths, but just stuff that I'm not afraid to talk about. And what that has done is, like, to your point, has attracted people that also feel the same way. I think people get a little caught up on likes and things like that. And when you can not worry about like how many likes you're getting, or how many, just, is this going to be seen? I got a strong message, especially for those like in the insurance industry, which is a lot of business that you will get will not come from, like, I guess this is kind of shifting a point, but just being authentic and being yourself. A lot of the business that you're going to get is going to come from like little base hits. Like, you're not going to like always hit this like home run. You're not going to make this like viral piece of content. A lot of people are going to want to do business with you just off of like the little base hits. And I guess you could say that, maybe Dave puts out a video where he's talking about our country, and maybe it doesn't get that many likes, but the maybe the 18 people that did like that post, that's going to turn into some business, if that makes sense. And I think we kind of overthink it because of like maybe how much engagement things aren't getting. But just be true to you, and it eventually you're going to break through. Because an example I love to talk about is I've always been a fanatic of success quotes, success quotes, like just anything. I literally made my team watch Jim Rohn yesterday for an hour because they need to know who this man is. You know, like I love Jim Rohn, man. This guy's a legend.
He's awesome. Yeah.
He's a legend. I like one of my biggest things. I wish I would have been able to met this man, but unfortunately, he's with the Lord now. But so I'm kind of drifting off on a side tangent there. But I used to post things and it wouldn't get a lot of love. Like when I first started posting about success and I wasn't a success, it would get maybe like 3 likes. But the good thing is, and that was true to me, but the good thing is like the more successful and consistent I became, people are now there's maybe what I'm posting now is resonating a little bit more, and that's because I've been just kind of true to who that is. And back to that silent supporters thing, there's so many people that don't ever message you ever, and then you start blowing up, and it's just like, bro, I see you. Or you see them at the gym, and they're just like, bro, you're popping off right now. And I'm like, well, that's interesting because you never like shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I resonate with that too.
like I pay like you pay attention to me, but bro, I don't see you like throwing a like, bro. It costs nothing to hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? And so people are watching. Be you. Just be you, man. Yeah. So
love that. And it looks like we had another question that's coming in there. What are some of your favorite tools, maybe software or AI tools, like anything people can use, like as an easy way to help them with content? I know one of the ones that I found that I started mastering, it's made it a lot easier, is CapCut. CapCut's a good one that I have, and I'm not sure what other recommendations that you would have for people that can give them tools to make it a little bit easier to get going.
Yeah. So this is a great one. So
I'm taking notes too.
One of the things that I've done recently is, yes, we have used CapCut. My manager uses CapCut. I have a director of marketing that was probably the best hire I've ever made. For like 6 years, I did content myself. 6 years, 7 years, I put it out all myself. And honestly, it's kind of insane. Like in retrospect, like how was I posting on all these platforms? Like it's just way too much. So I got somebody in charge of kind of posting, and I wouldn't there. I looked into a tool where you can post on one platform and it posts to all the platforms. And let me tell you, don't do that, because every platform has its own unique like way of what the audience likes and how they like to work. And so the thumbnail that you might post on TikTok isn't the thumbnail that is going to respond well on Instagram or LinkedIn. And so I try to avoid those apps where it's like, it's just going to post on everything. Just hire an assistant to like do all the posting for you. But there are people in different countries that can do great work for the low, as far as like chopping up one of your reels and making it look pretty dynamic. And these guys work around the clock, and they're charging, pretty much next to nothing per reel. Like what my editor would charge me here in the United States would charge me or it would cost me a lot more than what these guys do in different countries. And as you're putting out content, a lot of these guys will be messaging you on Instagram, and normally I would ignore them, but I shot because he seemed legit, and he's been chopping up some of my content recently, and I think I'm paying him like $15 per reel, and that might be too expensive, but I mean, just the work that he's been doing, I'm like, I rock with this.
No, that's great. Yeah, because I've been doing probably like $35 a reel when I'm having somebody charge it up. So that's great.
Yeah, and I can connect you, Dave. I'll connect you with these people. But as far as other tools, like what tools are we using? I wish my director of marketing, I probably ask him, but I don't know. I think he's
Professional
very well
camera,
versed.
or just shot on iPhone, or what?
Yeah, we shoot a lot of stuff on our iPhone. The iPhone is great. And here's a tip to, like, when you're recording, let's just say you're out and about and you just want to get like a story, shoot on this side of the phone. Just clean the lens. Don't shoot on the reverse cam. Shoot on this side. You can hit the 0.5 while you're walking. Sometimes just changing your background does wonders. So instead of me talking here in my office while I'm outside or just changing that background up, people engage with that. And then also just this is some random tip, which is a big percentage of people are watching your videos without volume, so you got to put subtitles on there. And yeah, so as far as technology, I don't think we're getting too fancy with it, but I have referenced ChatGPT a lot as it relates to so actually I lied. When you're creating a thumbnail, right, it has taken my thumbnail game to the next level, especially on YouTube, because my director of marketing is really good at Photoshop, and he's done all my thumbnails ever since. But now, since we have ChatGPT, and like, you can give that the idea as the base, and sometimes it gets a little sloppy with the text. It'll say like insurance agent, it won't even say agent, like, like when the text is all wacky. And you can get the foundation from ChatGPT and then modify it from there. And it's been powerful. So.
Yeah, ChatGPT is powerful because I use that too. And what I'll do is I'll use my own voice, my own message, and everything else. And it's like, how would you frame this message into a 90-second reel? And it actually creates a layout for you to take your own authentic message and then put it in a format that makes sense, so you don't have to, think and create that part and get stuck on something that you're maybe struggling with. Or another thing that you can do too is you can actually go out there and, hey, study other viral reels of somebody of like similar content and authenticity, and then look at that, right? And then analyze that. And how do I create something like similar to somebody else is doing, not taking their idea, but just understanding the dichotomy, the principles that maybe took their content viral, and using that as you're posting to going out there to do it. And I'm no expert, but those are little things that are making me from, getting 0 views to, hey, I got 50 views on this one. And it was a great post, just making those little tweaks.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is having a strong hook. So many people make the mistake, especially if you're in insurance. It's like, you cannot start your video off with, hey, everybody, my name is Nick Sakha, insurance agent here in Las Vegas, Nevada. People's attention spans are worse than a goldfish in 2024. Yep.
Which that used to be my introduction on my videos. Hey, I'm Dave Williams.
Yeah. You got to go right into it. You got to start with a strong hook. Like, if we're talking about, the Olympics, like you will not believe, and people probably already know, like, but as that thing first happened, like, you could have been one of the first people to get kind of like an audience behind what happened. People are quick. You got to be quick with it too, especially if you're kind of like talking about recent events and things like that. Like, if you were one of the first insurance agents to talk about State Farm's downgrade rating, then you capitalized. But you can't make that video right now because State Farm took that A to B rating like 2 months ago, right? So speed and a strong hook is super important, because, like I said, the human attention span officially is lost to the goldfish. We're 8.5 seconds. A goldfish is like 9 seconds.
Wow.
No, absolutely. And then, one question I got here too, because I think this is like an important factor in any business, right? I feel like you can't really impact what you don't measure. It's just like anything else, right? If you're trying to go to the gym, you got to measure your macros. If you got to measure the activities that you're doing, the time that you're doing the activities in your business, and most insurance agencies, they're measuring talk time, quotes, all those different things. I'd be curious, what are the KPIs, the key performance indicators, that you would recommend people that they could, inspect what they expect and see, like those little variables? What KPIs would you recommend people measure and manage when they're trying to build their brand?
Yeah. For For us, we are posting, 3 times a week where we were giving like outreach assignments where it's like, hey, show love to your friends and family. I have my team doing it. I don't force my team to put out content, but I highly recommend it, just because not everybody wants to build this brand and stuff like that. But just between outreach and posting content, that's worked for me as far as like how I'm measuring social media in my agency.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know sometimes you can go into the platforms, right? If you got tools or maybe in the platform under Business Suite, and you can see watch time, and like, hey, if the average watch time of this video is there, maybe I was on to something, and now I'm not just spraying and praying anymore. I know that video finally took off, and I could replicate it.
Right. So something that that I'm still experimenting with right now is, you can go into your analytics on all the different social media platforms, and you can see which ones, like your top performing videos. Like, it gives you that information pretty easily, and you do want to study like what you did differently in those videos. And when you do have something pop off, unfortunately, you have to keep making content similar to that one video. So an example is, I did how quickly men become friends at work, and it popped off.
That was hilarious.
It went off, like it did really, really well. And so immediately, and also we started studying like the comments. The comments were like, like do girls now. We already planned on doing women, how quickly women become friends in the workplace. So we quickly like pay attention to the audience, because they will give you ideas. There are funny people leaving comments that end up being like the most liked comments, and like pay attention to that, because they can give you spin-off ideas and how to kind of like do it better the next time, and so on and so forth. But we do the girl version, and the girl version did even better than the guy version. And so that kind of has given me an idea as far as let's do more stuff like this. Now, of course, because as you find people that have done super well on social media, they kind of have a consistent theme of like the content that they're putting out. Something works, and so they do a lot of that variation. But as far as I know a lot of insurance agents want to know, like, how do I know that this is working? And for me, it has been so ingrained in our agency, as I look at like our all-time business, like personal referrals are like our number one source. Now that's now our mortgage partners, everything is tied to social media, because we're attracting, like, we're getting our foot in the door with lenders here. Lenders are finding me on social media. And the moment I see lender or mortgage in their name, it's like I follow them right back, because that's a good referral source for my business. And then I message them, and so I start doing stuff like that. But as I look at my numbers, like, and we are in the PNC business, like in the last 5 years, we've written 5,000 items and 3.5 million in premium from social media.
No, that's amazing.
Some people might not consider like their personal referrals social media. Personal referrals is social media. Like
100%. Yeah. That's your brand. Whether you're knocking doors or you're knocking virtual doors, it's still your brand that's driving that.
Yep. And I heard this, the definition of a personal brand, I got to share it because it's so good. A personal brand is and this isn't my quote. I got to find you guys the guy's name who said this. It's the digitization of your reputation.
Yep.
That's what a personal brand is nowadays. So
no, and I found I had to do that, like, to that point. Like, if everybody looks at my thing there, www.bookdavidwilliams.com. The reason why I created that, I was trying to hire PR firms. I was trying to like get myself out there, and still trying to get my brand out there. And they're like, well, tell me about you. And I had to go through this long, exhaustive process of explaining myself over and over again. So I was like, well, I got to build the site for it. And I think that's the same thing there when you're building, because everything I'm hearing you're saying is you're building that up, and all your content eventually becomes omnipresent, where that's like in everybody's purview in some way, shape, or form. It's in their feed. They see you, and then they start to recognize you. And then everything I'm hearing from you is you created a magnet that brought your clients to you. So no longer it was just exhaustive energy. You still got to do some of that exhaustive energy, chasing. But now you magnetize it, where the people are coming in your inbox, just like, hey, who doesn't want some of the best referral partners on the planet, which are mortgage brokers, realtors, and everything else. But guess what? There's thousands of freaking insurance agents that are knocking on your door. And how do you stand out in the sea, and differentiate yourself from those? And you have done that and differentiated yourself. So if I was a mortgage broker, hey, I want to do business with this guy because he's providing value in my life. And then there's a psychological component there, the law of reciprocation, where people feel the need to reciprocate because you've given so much value to them intrinsically that they want to do business with you. But no, that's absolutely fantastic.
I got one point that I want to make that is a game changer. So if you want to make, if you're like, Nick, I don't want to put out content, like it's just not my thing. If you want to make it the easiest, like the easiest way to put out content, and not everyone's going to do it, but create a podcast. Okay. Yep. You create a podcast. This is the power of a podcast. You create long form content on a podcast, and 90% of podcasts never make it past episode 10. So don't worry about it being like, saturated. Most people suck and they're going to quit after 10 episodes. And so, you have a podcast, you have long form content where people get to know you, and long form is where people actually get to like connect with you. And like, cause it's not like just the typed out Facebook posts. It's not just the short form videos. People are really kind of getting to know a little bit more of you. And as you have guests on there, try not to let them do all the talking, which is something I'm horrible at. On my podcast, I'll just let people talk. Try to insert yourself into the conversation because your audience is there for you. They're not like the guest is cool, but they're there for you. So like you got to try to insert yourself a little bit. And so as you insert yourself, you could chop up the short form, and now you have short form and long form, right? And then the easiest way to get people to come talk to you is people don't meet. Like if I can go reach out to the number one lender in Vegas right now and say, hey, can we have a cup of coffee? You know what he's going to tell me? He's not even going to get back to me. Like there's no way I have a way to get a hold of this guy, right? But if I reach out to his assistant and I say, hey, I wanted to get Mr. So-and-so on my podcast. This is what my podcast is all about. These are the views that we're getting, et cetera, et cetera. And even if they're not that many views, people just appreciate consistency. Like I think Grant Cardone said he'll jump on your podcast if he knows you have at least like 50 episodes or something like that. And so, so I had an example I have of this is I had this guy that founded a $19 billion company come to my office 2 months ago, and we chopped it up on a podcast. And in retrospect, it's like, you think I could have taken this guy out for a cup of coffee?
Yeah, it probably maybe, but it could have been a lot more difficult than.
But I just got an hour of this guy's time where he basically poured into me, whether he realized it or not. And so people will meet with you for a podcast, but they won't meet with you just for whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that should tell you something. Like you have this opportunity to connect with people that you may not have been able to connect with before. And even if you like, I'm in Vegas, so I'm lucky. I can connect with people because people are going to be visiting Vegas from all different, areas, right? So I can connect with people as they're in Vegas. But even if I wasn't in Vegas, I would become the local legend wherever I'm at. I would interview all the bakers. I would interview all the realtors, all the lenders. There are power players in any city in the country. Like, let me be the guy in Indiana or Nebraska that holds this platform where I'm interviewing all like the local business owners, entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, politicians, and they come to my platform, and that's how you take over your state if you sell in one particular state. So,
no, I love that. Love that. That's great.
Them, they're gonna accept your tags, and now you're being exposed to their audience, and so on and so forth. So, it's just like that's how you take over in your particular state.
Love it. Love it. I know the audience are loving these knowledge bombs that you're dropping. And we have another question that's coming in here from Ben. And what advice do you have when looking for a marketing person? What's the job title? Part-time, full-time? Does it start out by project, independent contractor, Fiverr, Upwork? Those are the questions we have coming in from Ben.
Yeah. So for me, I had a former service person. So like my advice, depending on what your industry is this is what I've been telling PNC agents is make somebody a hybrid. Like the next time you need somebody for service, make them a hybrid person, but make sure that they have skills in social media. Like they just have a basic understanding of all the platforms. They have a basic understanding of like maybe video editing and graphic design, and then utilizing AI. And the next hire you make sure that like if they check your customer service boxes or personal assistant boxes, make sure that they have those skills as well, and then start them there because you might not have a lot of work for them up front. I made this hire. I started off 2 years ago with a former customer service person who just essentially just helped me with posting and reporting the content, just like basic stuff. And then she did it remotely, but she would come to Vegas and she would shoot, and then we would stack content on 1 or 2 days. And then recently, when I made this hire, Las Vegas, it happens to be one of the highest paying social media manager states because we're competing with the casinos.
Okay.
You guys in other states have that luxury where you can hire a social media person for like $16 an hour, maybe $18 an hour. And so as far as, I mean, it just depends on how much content you're going to be putting out. If you're going to be like me, I'm going like all in right now, right? You're seeing me post every single freaking day on 2 videos a week on YouTube, a reel every single day of the week. And then I'm inserting my, social media stories. And so my guy is full time. There are times where maybe he has downtime, but then I'll reach out to him and say, hey, respond to all my Google reviews. Hey, I'm finding work for him to do that will help, the agency digitally. And then I will have him work. We're still in office. I got remote staff, but we still have this like remote operation here in Vegas. And so I do have him come up with ideas and film them with the team and kind of get them. I want my team posting too. Like they need to build a personal brand as well. Not just for me and the agency, but for them and their development. So hopefully that helps and answers your question.
No, I think that was great too. And one of my takeaways there is I think that, when you analyze that, what is that also going to do is it's probably going to play into your retention too, because they're not just in the same day-to-day hearing customer after customer after customer and the same mechanics, but now they get to mix it up a little bit. And then it allows you to grow into that person where maybe like you start to get so much into building your brand, your corporate brand, your personal brand, you're getting traction with it that you can eventually make them full-time. But in the interim, it kind of mixes up the monotony of taking call after call for customer rate increases, customer complaints, whatever that might be, that can actually detract energy. Because what are people naturally born with that creates energy is creativity, right? So when you allow your team members to embrace their creativity, that creates synergy, that creates energy, that creates like some sort of satisfaction for them that I could only imagine that that's probably helped your retention instrumentally inside of your operation.
Yeah, that's a great point that you bring that up. I actually have somebody on my team that I think, and he has all the talent in the world. We're actually shooting some ads with him today, and we're trying to get in the process of generating our own leads. And the last point I'll leave you guys with, because I think we're getting close to the end here, is not the last point, but is when you post content organically, you can kind of get an idea of like you just kind of get all the reps in organically, right? So that way, when you start doing paid stuff, like you're warmed up, you're ready to go, like build the skill through organic, right? Because even if nobody sees it, there's nothing to worry about. Nobody saw it. You know what I mean?
That's a perfect place to get better, right? It's like it's like going to the gym at midnight and nobody's there. Well, I mean, you could probably go to the gym these days at like 8 a.m. and there's still nobody there. But you go to the gym and nobody's there and nobody's judging your form, and then all of a sudden you build the muscle, and now you're trying to come during peak hours because I want people to look at me now because and I'm starting to get some momentum, and people just like seeing other people winning, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But so to your point is, it made me think about this guy that I got that, I can tell that he's just, and rightfully so, like some of the leads just kind of just drain you because, these lead companies sell us, trash. And I want to continue to generate our own leads to provide them better quality customers, higher intent, people that are, the quotes and versus what these lead companies sell us. And and having them being a part of that process, like, hey, we're going to film an ad today. I think it does do something, especially when somebody, this guy, this particular gentleman, is a super talented, charismatic, like in front of a camera and stuff like that. So that's what that made me think of.
No, I love that. I love that. And then one of the things you said there actually made me come up with a question for you. So, at what point do you get into paid advertising, and what's the best way to do that? Because I've heard mixed things when it comes to that. They're like, hey, as soon as you go into paid, the algorithm knows you're opening up your wallet, and then it's going to suppress your organic content, your organic content. I've heard that from people. But what is the most effective way, I guess, to use paid media in order to, I guess, get the maximum for your dollar, right? Because you can go down a rabbit hole really quick and spend tens of thousands of dollars. It could get pretty instrumental to get the views. But how do you have that perfect mix of organic and then paid to get your best bang for your buck?
Yeah, well, first you need a good Facebook ad manager. Like you need somebody that's running your ads. I'm not that smart. So one of my best friends that I went to college with happens to be doing it for me. And so, you can test different things. And the best thing you should do is to pull the ad before it starts going down that rabbit hole. So if you see that, real quickly after 1 week, if you've gotten 10 leads at $30 a lead, like you should probably stop that campaign.
Yep.
Because right, like that's not worth $30. And I mean, you can figure out what it is worth to you or not by looking at the numbers, but posting on your personal Facebook, which is what I do, and my ads on my Facebook ads profile, they're two separate things. So I don't know.
Okay, I didn't know if you ever took some of your content and your reels you made and put a boost behind it in order to get more traction with it all.
So here's something for you, Dave. Don't boost it through Instagram. You need to create a Facebook ads manager and run it through there. You can go a lot more versus just boosting posts don't work effectively. So try not to do that.
No, good idea. Good idea.
Yeah. And I have a friend that can help you if you need help with that, bro.
No, I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. No, but this has been absolutely invaluable. And I just want to say, man, I'm super proud of you too. I remember when we first met, I think it was 17. You sent me that picture not too long ago when we were standing at it was a CWC conference or ASA conference we had where Grant Cardone was there. And man, you came a long way, brother. I'm so proud of you. Like you're a testament of the American dream. You're a testament of what showing up in life looks like and being consistent every single day. Because that's the one thing I note about you is, persistence, consistency, the grit, the hustle, and that's what built your agency. And it was those same attributes that I saw build your social media brand and build your personal brand that you got there. So it's, just really, really inspiring everything that you do. And I know you're doing some big things coming up here that you just took everything that you've done, the years of hard work, and you're giving people the roadmap and the compass where it maybe doesn't have to take them 10 years. It's not going to come easy, but it's not going to take them 10 years because you just founded the Insurance Creators Mastermind. And, tell the audience about that a little bit, because I know sounds like something that's going to be super invaluable to people out there that are trying to grow their brand and they want to have that support and mentor. And I'm a firm believer in every aspect of life. You need a coach. Like I got a coach that helps me in the gym. I got a coach that helps me in my faith. I got a coach that's my therapist. I got a coach that's a business coach. I got so many different coaches in every parts of life because, I started to recognize the blueprint to win in life is going to somebody that's already got the destination you're looking to go and take you there. So tell me about the Insurance Creators Mastermind.
Yeah. So I created the Insurance Creators, which is coming out and launching in September. I'm going to be having a free webinar in the third week of August. I think it's the 27th or 28th. And just going to give a ton of value, just like we've talked about on this call, just a lot of things that will help agents. And I know that for me, I've invested in learning a lot about social media. I've been a part of masterminds. I'm a part of masterminds, and I
Yep.
just see this big need, especially for the insurance industry, where agents still just aren't taking advantage of this free resource. And
Yep.
and it costs nothing to utilize it. It's not going anywhere, and so, but a lot of people just need guidance. They need just like the content to post, and they need just a little bit of guidance, accountability. Right? Most people know what they need to do. They know what to do to get into shape. They know
Yep.
what not to eat. But a lot of times people just need accountability, and that's what this mastermind is going to be. I want to help our industry. I've seen, some of the people that are helping agents in our industry. I don't. I feel like they don't have the numbers or I don't think that they're qualified. Let me just call.
Oh no, for sure. And I'm a big believer in that too. There's like be careful of the coach that have never done the things that they're coaching on. And the way I say that, the way I look at that, like I'm a firm believer in it, that it's fraud. Like if somebody's going out there and like you're trying to teach somebody how to scale a $7-8 million business, right? And you haven't scaled a 6-figure business, how are you going to teach them and guide them through the nuances? How are you going to guide them through the trenches? Like you don't know what you don't know, and where you learn what you know is through the experience and the journey of getting there. And I'll see all these like, 7-figure coach. And I'm like, well, show me your 7-figure business. Well, this is my first business.
Right.
Well, they'll show me how that works. I'd be like, hey, I'm a brain surgeon, but I've never operating on somebody before, but I'm teaching all other brain surgeons on how to be world-class brain surgeons. Well,
yeah.
Are you going to trust yourself getting operated by that guy? Probably not. Well, I'd look at the same thing when you look at your coach.
And for our industry, not just the social media like metrics and like the numbers to like back up like the engagement, but the numbers, like how much sales are you getting from this? And so I really see a big need. There are some, I'm not saying all of them are bad. I know some people that are.
No, there's some people out there. Maybe, hey, somebody needs a 6-figure coach because they're getting from 5 to 6. But where it crosses the line to me, you're teaching somebody to get to 7 figures and you're far from ever getting there yourself. You don't belong trying to teach somebody to do that.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what we're launching. And if you want more information, just follow me, just connect with me. I'm going to be announcing this webinar soon.
And how can people connect to you? What's the best way that they can connect with you to check out the insurance creators, or just follow your content? Folks, anybody that's listening, one of the best ways to learn is learn from the guy that's doing it, that's put all the work. You can probably go back and watch some of his earlier videos and then look at the videos that we're now and just watch the progression path of him getting better and better and better and better. And I think what that'll do is encourage a lot of audience members that, hey, I am starting from this place, but if Nick can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah. Just watch my feet, right? Don't watch what, like I always say, like watch people's feet. Don't watch what they're saying. Watch how they're moving, And so, but connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Nicholas Sakha on Facebook, Nick Sakha Nicholas Sakha on Facebook, Nick Sakha on Instagram. And then you can find me on YouTube as well, Nicholas Sakha, but that's the best way to connect.
Perfect. Well, man, thank you so much. I love your brother. I appreciate you coming on and the show. I have no doubt I'll speak on behalf of all the viewers already. I know this has been a game-changing show for a lot of people. You dropped a lot of knowledge bombs, so we appreciate you coming on here and adding value. And that is our goal in Ask the Experts every single week. We don't want to come here and have it be a pitch fest like a lot of things that are doing and webinars where they're trying to sell you another thing, and a lot of groups that are just sell you this, sell you that. We just want to come in here and serve. We just want to come here and add value and bring world-class people like Nick Sakha on here that can help you change the game. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just serve other people. And I think there was a mentor that once told me, if you help enough other people get to where they want to go in life, you're never going to have to worry about your own destination. And I'm a firm believer in that. And that's what, Nick did here today. And that's what our show is all about. So I appreciate all you guys for tuning in to episode number 5 of another show of Ask the Experts. And we're going to be here at the same time, same day, same channel with another expert next week. And we look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you, guys. Peace.
Thanks, Nick.
Appreciate it.